a broadcasting legend in his own mind. He's known to be prickly and very opinionated. It's time to get in the huddle with your host, Coach Muddle.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Funday. As we kick off week 3 of the NFL season, got Stizz with his fantasy and gracing us with his presence, Nevada Nick. Thanks for joining us, Nick. We greatly appreciate it.
No problem. It's always a pleasure, Coach.
So we got an action-packed hour. I want to touch on a little bit first, guys. I want to touch on the little bit of college, man. We had some upsets early.
Yeah.
You know, number 3 Oklahoma gets upset. And I read somewhere that since 2009, Oklahoma has lost 6 times when they're favored by 20 or more. That's the most by any team in that span. I think the next one is like 3 to blow a 20-point lead. So it's pretty crazy. Also, the other big one was LSU, I thought. Yeah. You know, Mike Leach making his SEC debut and showing everybody that the air raid offense works anywhere. And, you know, they played a little bit of defense.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had 660 yards passing or something like that. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, LSU, you'd think, look, they did lose a lot of people, but still, after, you know, the year they had last year where it was just, you know, they just were going from game 1 and pretty much went all the way through to the national championship. I know they kind of started a little slow in the national championship, but still, they even took Clemson to task. And, yeah, pretty crazy. Oklahoma, Coach, we keep saying it. Play defense. Like, right. The Big 12 does not play defense. And if you don't play defense, eventually it's going to bite you. And it bit them early this year. I mean, they could not stop anything yesterday. And the offense didn't do good either.
But here's the thing. They jumped out to a 21-point lead at one point and couldn't hold it. You would think an Oklahoma team, when they get that big of a lead, they can hold that kind of lead. So, and my other thing, you know, the Lightning, they'll play a game 6 here. They lost last night in overtime. The Stars still sticking around.
You know what? It was double overtime, correct. And you know what? Good for them. I mean, you know, because if you're losing 5, it would have been like, they kind of didn't play good. But, you know, there's been a bunch of overtime games. I think there's been 2 double overtime games. They're they're giving the Lightning, you know, a run for the money. I know they did have one game where I think they lost 5-1, but, you know, game 6 now, and look, you're still alive. Just like Matthew McConaughey says, you're living, man, Livin. And that's all that matters, man. You know, on to the next one. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I do think the Lightning will probably close it out in game 6. You want to. You don't want to go to that game 7 where it's, you know.
Right, because I think when you're up 3-1, you know, and then you lose, now it's 3-2, there's a chink in the armor, you lose that other one and it goes 3-3 and you got to go to game 7. That I think the pendulum starts switching, you know, starts tilting the other way, you know, with that. It becomes very tough.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Lakers did last night. You know, they didn't want Denver to win that game and close in on them. So they took care of business like they should have.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. And look, you know, Denver's been a team too, Stizz, as you know, that, you know, they were down 3-1 in the last 2 series. You know what I mean? So you don't want to give them any type of life. You just don't want to do it, you know. So that was big for the Lakers, and now you got the game 6 tonight, right? Yeah, game 6 of Celtics Heat. So, yeah. I mean, if I'm the Heat, you got to close it out tonight. You don't want to go to game 7 and give that Celtics team, which has a lot of talent, you know, any life, because you got Hayward playing now too, obviously.
Right.
You want to start off with Stizz, Coach, or
yes. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to. I can't do two things at once. You know, it's a little. You know, I'm a little slow. So
The multitasker or lack thereof.
yeah, my finger's not working. Not working this morning. So
All right, Stizz, whatever you want to start off with, you go ahead. You
go
take
ahead.
Yeah, that's fine. I want to be transparent week to week in all my picks. I'm not only going to tell you the good ones, I'm going to tell you the bad ones too. And myself, my personal opinion is I kind of shit the bed on my big ones last week. I had Derrick Henry last week as the start of the week. Only came up with 84 yards, no touchdowns, no receptions. You know, that run first offense, I thought for sure, you know, they were going to pound him, you know, all day long. They decided to pass the ball. I gave you Scotty Miller. I gave you Naheem Hines last week on the waiver wire. Once again, they didn't use him for some odd reason. I don't know why. Godwin was out. You know, Scotty Miller had a good week one. It just didn't come through. Same with Naheem Hines. It was all Jonathan Taylor on the ground. So, but I did rebound. Last week. I had Matt Ryan as another start, 4 touchdowns, big game, big passing game. I had Jonathan Taylor had a touchdown over 100 yards. The big one was Tyler Higbee, tight end against the Eagles. 3 touchdown game. I mean, that was huge. And of course, the prop bet of the week was Darren Waller, over 4.5 receptions. That was easy. Like I said, it just looked absolutely too low. I was kind of surprised at that, but luckily it went way over. This week, I'm going to start off with my deep sleeper of the week. I had a good friend of mine, the Bulldog, we'll name him as. We were talking a little bit ago and talking about some sleepers we can maybe piece together for our fantasy league. And we're talking about this guy who's owned in less than 1% of all leagues. Stizz money, that's right. His name is Drew Sample, tight end for the Cincinnati Bengals today against the Birds. C.J. Uzomah is done for the season. He's got a torn Achilles. This Drew Sample, he caught 7 to 9 passes last week. And so far as what we've seen, the Eagles hasn't been able to stop a tight end yet. Logan Thomas, week 1. Tyler Higbee, week 2. And here we go, week 3. You know, so I think the way Burrow looks, he looks confident. Yeah. And I think he's going to look for Sample and a bunch of check downs. He's going to use them a lot today.
Yeah, Eagles have no respect for the linebacker position. I mean, they don't care about linebackers. I mean, I don't get it.
And that's what I'm a little afraid of. I mean, you know, the Eagles' defense has been playing poorly. You know, A.J. Green had a bunch of targets last week. Didn't catch many of them. I don't know if this is going to be as weak or not. Who knows? So we'll go to the start of the week. This is obvious, or is it? Miles Sanders, right?
Yeah.
You've seen Cincinnati last week. They gave up over 200 combined yards to Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb last week.
Yeah.
Seemed like they can't stop anybody. Now, it's only obvious if Dougie Fresh sticks to the game script, which if he doesn't, he's a moron, okay? Yep. Eagles have 3 big games coming up. They have San Fran, they have Baltimore, and they have another pretty decent team, pretty decent defense coming up.
I think it's the Saints. I think they play the Saints it's not an easy schedule, that's for sure.
3 tough games coming up, even though San Fran's banged up, but still, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough game going in. And then after that, they got 3 division games back to back to back. Giants, Giants again. So they lose this game today, they might start off 0-6. I mean, and then we're going to go from there.
Oh, yeah, don't get me. I don't want to talk about. But no, if Sanders doesn't touch the ball, to me, I'm talking about carries. Just not even passes 25 times, you got a problem. He's got to run the ball. You don't want to put all the pressure on Carson because I think that's part of Carson's problem. I really do. I think he's putting a lot of pressure on himself. I mean, because right now the bar's been set at win the Super Bowl because that's what Nick Foles did, in his second year. So now he's going in every year with the bar, at winning the Super Bowl, and it's tough. And he does not have the supporting cast he had that year they made the Super Bowl run. Now, I'm not saying he's not playing well. He's not. He's playing bad. He needs to improve, but he doesn't have that supporting cast.
Brian, I'm banning you because the Giants won't be a win, okay?
He's saying the Giants are going to win. How are you going to ban him? What's wrong with that?
The Eagles will at least get a win against the Giants. That's what he's saying.
Oh, the Giants will be a win at least. Yeah, they will. He's right. Giants suck.
Giants do get a week today. Be honest with you.
They should.
This should be a Miles Sanders, Zach Ertz type of day.
Yep.
Nevada and Coach.
I agree.
I think that's the only two you go to the whole game. And like you said, he has to get 25 carries, and he has to get at least, I'm going to say 6-7 targets today for sure. For sure. I got a couple other starts for you guys. Okay. Russell Wilson versus Dallas. You see them two defenses can't stop anybody. Russell Wilson, he's cooking, baby. He's cooking. 9 touchdowns already this year.
Right.
Man, that guy's just slinging them. I'll tell you. It's going to be a high-scoring game. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the highest scoring total on the board this week. 56.5, right, Nevada?
Yep, it is.
So I'm looking for Russell Wilson to have at least another 3-touchdown day. Let's go with Kenyon Drake on the ground versus that Detroit defense, who ranks 4th worst in the league against the run. I think Kenyon Drake's going to have a monster day. Wide receiver, let's go with me and Coach's boy we've been talking about since the beginning of the season.
That's right.
Leighton. I mean, look, San Fran's banged up. I mean, they have nobody. They're missing a lot of pieces on that defense.
Right.
And now, their Giants are missing 2 big running backs. Devontae Freeman, Coach, how many touches do you think he gets today?
I think they work him in. I don't know that he's going to obviously carry the load. I think it's Lewis.
Sure.
You're going to see Gilman. Is it
Gallman?
Gallman, thank you. He's going to have some touches today as well.
Did you say Gallman's out for this?
Gallman's out, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Really? I'm going to look that up. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I heard a couple days ago that he was out.
And
more than likely, I'm pretty sure I heard that he was out for the season.
Well, you would think, too, the Giants would throw the ball today because, look, Barkley's hurt. And, look, San Francisco's 2 best pass rushers are out in Bosa and D Ford. And then your best cover corner is out in Richard Sherman. So why don't you throw the ball?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but you got a young offense. The run sets up the pass.
No, I know.
So you got to do it.
But I think that's their best opportunity is going to be to throw the ball. I just think that, Coach. And, and Chris Lentz said, too, and it's right, Jalen Reagor for the Eagles is out for 6 to 8 weeks. What else is new with the Eagles? Receivers being hurt. I mean, the whole damn team's hurt. I mean, it's just they can't stay healthy, and that's a problem.
Well, Sterling Shepard's out for the Giants today, too.
Yeah, Sterling Shepard's out as well. So you're going to have to see a bit, the tight end, Ingram's going to have to step up. So you're going to rely on some other guys, to come, Golden Tate, I'm not a big fan of. So
I think he's past his prime.
Right.
Prime.
I'm surprised that, but again, that's the Giants being cheap. They're afraid to dump them and have to pay them, instead of let's just keep him around to pay him, collect his money. I don't agree with that. So
sure. So tight end wise, I'm starting today is Hunter Henry for the LA Chargers versus that bad Carolina defense. Justin Herbert, rookie quarterback coming in. Hunter Henry has 8 targets per game so far in the first 2 weeks. I think usually rookie quarterbacks like to rely on their tight ends. So I like him, and I also like Tennessee's defense today versus the Minnesota Vikings. I think they're going to shut them down. We're going to sit of the week. Sit of the week, I'm going with T.Y. Hilton. Okay, so far 7 receptions for 81 yards this year. Which isn't a whole lot. He still doesn't look 100%. The guy's broken, and I think against this Jets defense, which is terrible, I think that they're going to go get up a lot, and they're going to use that ground game of Jonathan Taylor, little screen passes to Naheem Hines, and they're going to run it out like that. I don't think they're going to use T.Y. Hilton too much. I'm
looking up the injury report right now for the Giants, and I don't see Gallman on the injury report at all.
Okay. Maybe he's going to play then.
So, and I'm going to let me shoot over to the depth chart here. Real
and then,
quick.
Coach, can you put up what Fran said and Kevin said, too, about Freeman's good at catching the ball out of the backfield? That's true. And, the Giants should definitely use that weapon. And what Fran said, it's true. I think you're seeing it throughout football that, they always talk about, this preseason. Now you see without a preseason. And I think a lot of coaches weren't hitting in practice, too. and they're just not used to it. The muscles aren't prepared, and there's being in shape, and then there's being what's called in football shape. I mean, and I just think a lot of guys, you're seeing a lot of injuries, and to major players. I mean, just think for fantasy with Stizz, Barkley, Thomas. I mean, that's 2 top 5 guys right there, right, Stizz? They're probably
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey. I forgot about him.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's
All right, let's jump. We're going to jump on a phone line.
All right, good.
You're in the huddle. Who's this?
Hello, Coach Muddle. This is Houston Raider Steve, good friend of Captain Jack.
Oh.
This is great days for football.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing good, getting all pumped up. The Raiders ship is storming across the country, and the next port is New England. We're going to take no prisoners. What do you think about it? Jacobs and our good friend Waller being healthy, I think they've got a good chance to win this game, but how do you can't contain Newton, but it's going to be one heck of a game. What say you?
Go ahead, Nick. What you tell me?
So, honestly, I think it's a tough spot for the Raiders. I like the Raiders. They were my surprise team this year. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're good. I just think it's a bad spot. First, you're on a short week with the Monday night game. You get a big win. You're on the high. You saw them all excited in the locker room. Now you're going to New England. COVID, they're not leaving on Friday. They're leaving on Saturdays. You got a 1 o'clock game, which is 10 o'clock over in Vegas. Belichick's mom died this week. James White's father died. I think that factors in, man. I think the Patriots are going to want to play for their coach. I think the Raiders are going to lose today. I'm sorry, but I just, I got to be what I think. And but I love the Raiders for the year. They got to get that defense going, but that offense is on point.
Yeah, good stuff. I agree with Nick there. It's going to be it's always tough going from west to east, man. So we'll see.
It's a trap game, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, it is 100%.
I know this is what I'm concerned about. What do you think that Gruden needs to open up that playbook? I mean, back in the day, I became a Raider fan during the Heidi game with the Matt Bomber and everything, and they need to go deep. They need to stretch the field and make the Patriots cover the whole field. I think this is going to be an emotional game for the Patriots. I don't see the Raiders winning this game, but I just don't want to be blown out of the game. I want it to be close and have the opportunity when the game is on the line that they will be pulling it out. But I just don't see it happening today and everything. I think this is the game that, as you know, you win games, you lose, and you lose games you should have lost. You know what I'm saying? But anyway,
no, 100%. Yeah, you're right, and you want to put a good thing because it's good for your confidence. If you play a tough game and lose by a field goal or 4 points to New England, it's New England. I mean, you're talking about one of the great franchises in the NFL, and now too, like I said, I think their quarterback play is better with Cam. I just think Brady's older. I think there are some improvements on the offense. So you don't want to get blown out because it's a nick to your confidence. But the Raiders got a tough schedule in the first 6 games. So me and Captain were talking earlier on. They said if they came out 3-3, 4-2, it's good for them because the second half of the year the schedule gets a lot easier.
All right. Next week is Buffalo, and they're playing sky high right now. But I being a Raider fan, this gives us hope because for many years we just haven't had the players and everything. Now can you imagine what this team's going to be like after one more really good draft by Mayock and Coach Muddle? Between them and the Chiefs.
They've been hitting on some picks.
Yep, they're heading in the right direction. That's the good thing.
So, all right, thanks for the call, buddy. We appreciate it. We got to get moving on. We got a lot to cover today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
So, good call. Good stuff, man. Keep them coming with the calls. There's our line, 302-313-6797. Sorry, Stizz getting
sorry, Stizz.
cut off, man. So why don't you go ahead and finish up with your picks?
Yeah, no problem. A couple sits. I mentioned Jared Goff versus the Buffalo defense. I'm also sitting David Johnson versus Pittsburgh, who's 4th best against the run. You don't want to go against that Pittsburgh defense, man. They're tough. Austin Hooper versus Washington. Austin Hooper's been a dumpster fire too. I mean, what a big money signing for 4 receptions so far in 2 weeks. I mean, that's tough.
Yeah, at the time, Stizz, he was the highest paid tight end in the league. I mean, It made no sense. I know that's been eclipsed now, but still, man, way too much money.
You are correct.
One of those one-hit wonders, man.
Yeah. I'm also sitting Emmanuel Sanders for the Saints tonight versus Green Bay. I mean, Thomas is out. Drew Brees just doesn't. I don't know. He just doesn't look right.
I
You
know.
agree with me?
Yeah, I
mean,
do.
He just didn't look right. Emmanuel Sanders didn't do much. Jared Cook didn't do much, which I'm surprised. I'm sitting him this week. I'm going to wait. Thomas actually said he could be back by week 4. So we'll see what happens. High ankle sprains, you never know. That could be just all talk.
Right.
And I'm seeing Kansas City's defense against Baltimore tomorrow night. Now, that's the best game on the schedule. We all can't wait for that.
I know. I can't wait.
That's going to be a great game. I do like Baltimore in that game. I think it's going to be high scoring. You know, you're going to want to sit Kansas City's defense. I think Baltimore's going to put some points on the board. So that's what I got for my sits, fellas.
All right.
All right, good stuff. Thanks, Stizz. We appreciate it, man.
Want to get into the Eagles, coach, or you want to start with John?
I know you're chomping at the bit. Let me throw this up at you.
All right.
So.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's the talk in Philly. And look, the quarterback's always the one who's going to get the blame. It's the quarterback and the head coach. I think there's a lot of overreactions in Philly. I think it's more the team. I think Wentz is part of the problem, no doubt. But, I mean, let's not forget, we were leading going into the first half of the Redskins game. He didn't play horrible that game. I think that was more on Doug. I really do. He shouldn't have been throwing the ball.
I agree with the week that, it was more on Doug.
And then last week, Coach, you got to understand, before he could blink, they were down 21-3. Miles Sanders fumbles the ball, and he brought him back. But, the interception – when they were, it was 21-16 and they're driving, bad interception. You can't do it. But that's where I think he's putting so much pressure on himself. I mean, how many points did they give up last week? Over 30. It's hard to, in the NFL to expect to win when you're giving up 30 points. I'm not making excuses for him. He needs to play better. Coach, I've said, I think he's looking for the big play too much. I think he needs to do more like the Foles and take what that defense allows. And if it's Ertz and Goddard and you're doing 8-9 yard passes, I don't care. Move the change. That's what's important. Run the ball. That's what they did when they won the Super Bowl. Those third and shorts are important.
I agree. You got to get more in those, I like to call them freshman friendly down and distance, it's very important on that first down to get your 3, 4, 5 yards on first down and get the things moving, and you got to chip away, and instead of they're trying to buzzsaw instead of you got to get an axe and just start chipping.
Plus, Coach, if it's 3rd and 7 or longer, they know you're most likely going to pass.
Right.
You know what I mean? Towards if you're 3rd and 3. You could run the ball, so you have that difference. Like, then now they might not have to be able to put that pass rushing defensive tackle in. Maybe you got to put the big guy in now because you're afraid they may run. Maybe you got to bring more people in the box. There's a lot of things that factor in. Look, I don't think if they lose today, you switch to Hurts. I mean, he's young. And then, 130-some million you gave Winter, $128 million. Like, I mean, you make that move, it's going to be crazy in Philly. I think you got to give it time. Like, look, we got the rest of the year to play out. And if then, you're not happy with Wentz and this becomes a consistent thing where he's inconsistent, then maybe you look at moving the Hurts. But I think it's a panic move.
I have to look it up. I don't know what his contract, because what are we in, year 3 of the contract?
No, I think – so that was – when he signed that, I think it's like only year 2. But it was what? It was $32 million, so 4 years, $128 million I think he got. So I think it's year 2. I think he's got like 3 years left.
Yeah, but those contracts are front loaded anyway. So he's getting at what point can you walk away from that? And
it's going to be a huge cap hit.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's a huge cap hit, and they're already, I think, $25 million over next year. They'll move on from Jeffrey. Obviously, Peters will be gone, and Howie's not hitting on his picks, man. That's the other thing that people are forgetting. Like, Rager is we don't know yet. But Dillard, he's a question mark. Derek Barnett, question mark.
And I think to just Dillard, I really think part of that is, A, he hasn't been able to stay healthy.
Right.
But 2, when you draft a guy that's, he came from a small school. So the speed is completely different. And I don't think he's caught up yet. Yeah. And it might behoove the Eagles to move him inside a little bit and let him kind of get warmed up a little bit, or, to get used to the speed of the game because it's not like you're putting them in at right tackle. You're putting them in at left tackle. You're facing, the cream of the crop in pass rushers week in, week out. They're number one guys going against you, and you got to bring your A game. And I don't think he's up to that yet. Yet. I say yet.
Well, he hasn't been on the field a lot either, which hurts. You need to get that experience. Yeah, I mean, he didn't play last year. They brought Peters back, and then this year he gets hurt. So it's tough, but it's a question mark. I mean, are you sold that he's their left tackle? I'm not. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of question marks on the team, and I think somebody said it last week. It might have been you, Coach, but they kind of got old quick. They did. Yeah. They were really good. And now, Malcolm Jenkins is gone. You bring in Slay, but they have Kevin said, really, no linebackers.
I was just going to say no linebackers. You haven't really hit on that D line because Fletcher Cox he's kind of getting old. He's been there, he's been that staple, and you really haven't been able to. Really, that front seven is really deplorable, for a lack of a better term. I mean, you really don't have anybody that stepped up to play.
I don't think the defensive line's the problem. I think it's the linebackers.
No, you're right.
They don't have the line depth that they had.
But that's part of it. You don't have a guy when you come in on Sunday and go, man, I'm gonna get who's your production guy? Who's the guy that you know is gonna pressure that quarterback all day long in a consistent who on that D line? You don't have that guy that says, and look, the Giants don't have the guy either. They don't have that guy that says, okay, he's my guy. Where when you look at the Bears, I know that Khalil Mack, I got a game plan.
Right.
The Eagles, we don't have that guy.
No, you don't
have a guy like that. And that's part of the problem.
Yeah. The Eagles' best pass rusher is Graham, and he's good, but he's not where
he's not going to get you 15 sacks a season, 10 to 15. I just don't.
Yeah. So in regards to the game, I think the Eagles win. I mean, they better win. I hope they win. Am I sold they win? No. I mean, would I, bet my house on it? No. I think they're going to win. I think Doug better run the ball, like Stizz said. I mean, he better run the ball. If he doesn't, he's a bad coach because the Bengals had the worst run defense in football. Last year, the three top guys who missed tackles in defense were all Bengals. So run the ball. And that's been one of my biggest problems with Doug, run the ball. So I think the Eagles win. I think you don't bench Wentz if they lose. But, Stizz, what do you think?
I'm going my pick's 31-13 Eagles. I think they get on fast. I mean, they're going to have to. You guys think Deshaun Jackson's going to have any impact today?
I would hope. I mean, they need him to start making those stretches down the field. I mean, he's made some catches, but he really if you remember last year, man, those first game, boom, 2 long touchdowns against the Redskins, and then he gets hurt. I mean, because it helps. It stretches the field. And now Rager's out. Jeffrey's been out. I mean, there's a lot, and that's why I think the problem is with Wentz too. Like Deshaun's 32 now. He's not, and early on you could have said he's number one receiver, but he's not anymore. He's a complimentary player right now, and he's their number one receiver basically. And So that's why I think too they should be doing 2 tight ends, run the ball, and get your tight ends the ball. Once in a while try to hit Jackson deep. But this should be a 2 tight end offense because that's where you're built around. That's where your talent's at.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And like Coach said, earlier, they got to run the ball and get in short down yardage. They want to get them 2nd and 3s, 3rd and 4s, 3s, and that way they can open up that long ball. They're not geared on if they're going down 2nd and 13, 2nd and 15. Now you know who's going to be. Right. They're actually going long, you would assume.
Yeah. So that would be my biggest. My biggest problem with Wentz, he's holds the ball too long. He takes bad sacks and the turnovers. That's my biggest criticism.
You sure you're not talking about Daniel Jones?
What's that?
You sure you're not talking about Daniel Jones?
No, I'm talking about Wentz, But, I mean, look, Wentz is at the point now, it's his 5th year. So Daniel Jones is still in his 2nd year. And, he doesn't have the talent Carson's had the last, couple years. Carson, let's not forget, his 2nd year had a very talented team. He was on an MVP run, and then it went south. I mean, Giants have a shitstorm of an offensive line. That's the problem for
yeah.
Daniel
But
Jones.
honestly, with Barkley being out, I and you've heard me been saying this since last week that this is going to help the offensive line. Barkley not being there,
right?
Okay, because you got Lewis, you got Freeman, who are one cut guys. They're going to stay between the tackle. They're going to go through where the hole is. They're not going to be dancing and trying to bounce things around and confuse the offensive line because they don't know where they're blocking. They're young. This gives them an opportunity to gel together. So I look for good things today from the Giants. I think, they're facing a banged up 49er team. The defense is playing a lot better than I have anticipated this year so far in 2 games. They haven't been blown out. They've been in every game. I think the Giants win today.
They should. If they lose, it's going to be because they give up a bunch of rushing yards to the Niners. It's going to be that Niners offensive line that wins the game, I think. And don't if they lose.
They're down to their third team back. I just think that the Giants D-line, outside of not having a true pass rusher, Leonard Williams is really stepped up. I mean, obviously he's in a contract year, so he's stepping up. He's been playing pretty well for 2 games. You got Dexter Lawrence in year 2, who's really playing well. So I really think that the Giants can hold that running game down.
Mm.
And who is it? Nick Mullins starting for the Niners?
Yeah, Nick Mullins is starting quarterback today.
The Giants were smart. They come right after him. Blitz.
Yeah, I think that's the game plan. But again, you got to have somebody who can get after him, and I don't think the Giants have that guy yet. So
gotcha.
Carter and I can't think of the other kid's name, but the other linebacker. They're trying to get in and work into this pass rush. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay. I'm going with the Giants win today as well. I'm going to go with a low scoring game. I'm thinking, maybe like a 21-13 game, 21-13 type of game. I don't think it's going to be scoring. I mean, like I said, both teams are banged up. Where you're going to get the points from, I figure there'd be a few field goals involved and, maybe just some backdoor touchdowns there. So
yeah, Slayton deep today.
Yes.
Yeah, I got Giants 20-17. I think they win. I just think the Niners, it's too many injuries to overcome. I know you say, Coach, that they're on their third back, but with that line, I mean, that's the strength of their team. If you can hold, you can run. You can play. You can throw me back there, and I'll get 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
That's it. Right through the line.
Yeah, I mean, they got Trent Williams at left tackle. You got the kid from Notre Dame, McGlinchey at right tackle. That's, they got a very, very good offensive line in San Francisco. I mean, I've never been high on Jimmy G. I thought he was a functionality of the talent around him, that offensive line, the running game. And then obviously you got Kittle, but he's out today too. Right. So, and that would have been the guy, I think, if Mullins, could have relied on a little bit. And now he's out. So the Giants should win today. If they don't, man, Coach, it's not good. You know what I mean? You got to really question, hey, we can't beat this team with, a backup quarterback and, a bunch of backups, basically.
Right. Now, the same boat as the Eagles are if both teams lose,
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And don't forget, after these 3 games, East Division, they play each other. I think the Giants play the Eagles twice in 2 or 3 weeks. And then
yeah, they do. The Giants play the Redskins on Sunday, and then Thursday they turn around and play the Eagles. Which I don't know who's making the schedule, but
I don't like that either.
That's not good.
No, I don't get that either. Yeah.
So, but we'll go. We'll see. I agree with you. I think the Giants pull it out today, so we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I would hope. The line's 3.5. I mean, it's moved. It opened up at like Niners at 6, and then as the injuries went, I mean, it's been. I think it went down to 3, but I think it bumped back to 3.5. So the Giants are underdogs too. So you're getting a field goal. I mean, if they can't cover that, I mean, it's going to be a long year for you, Coach.
Well, yeah, you heard me say this. I think the Giants and the Jets are both competing for the number one pick in the draft this year. And I think, teams are hoping that it's not the Jets, because if the Giants get the number one pick, they'll be trading out because obviously they don't need a quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. And I think there'll be a lot of traffic, and I think that helps the Giants get some draft picks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's I don't know. I think, but I really question where the Eagles are headed. Giants, you got a young QB. I know the Eagles got a young QB too, but we're so just older now. Like Peters, Brandon Brooks, you tear Achilles again. I like Lane Johnson obviously, but Jason Kelsey, he's getting up there. So there's some questions on the line. Receiver Djax is old. Now with Rager being out most of the year, can you count on him? Jeffrey will be gone. Ertz's contract situation. There's a lot of question marks for the Eagles right now.
Does Alshon Jeffrey play this year? You think Alshon Jeffrey plays this year?
He's practicing again, so I think he might play next week. I mean, look, he's a big target, so he'll help you. I think. I don't know how much he's got left, but let's not forget too, that Super Bowl year he was huge, man. He scores the first touchdown in the Super Bowl. He made a lot of big catches. He might not have had number one receiver stats. I still think he got almost 1,000 yards, but they were really throwing the ball and distributing it evenly that year. I mean, Torrey Smith had 800 yards. They had a very good, Aguilar had a really good year this Super Bowl year. I mean, a lot of people forget that, but Nelson Aguilar was pretty damn good their Super Bowl year. Yeah, they did. I know. And the linebacker thing, I'll just never understand. It's just no respect for the linebacker position. I mean, they needed help on this team. And, now you got a backup quarterback. And all that's doing, too, is putting more pressure on Wentz.
Right.
Because you got the guy behind you now, too.
Right, because what does that tell you? You draft a quarterback in the second round when obviously you have O-line needs, you have linebacker, you have so many more needs.
Right.
Quarterback shouldn't have been one of them. Quarterback for the Eagles, if you wanted to draft a quarterback, let's see who's in round 5 and 6. Who's there? That's taking a flyer on a guy, and let's see. But a second rounder is going to play some football for you.
Right. Yeah, everyone scratched their head over that pick. Look at Green Bay. Green Bay, drafted a quarterback early. Aaron Rodgers is looking like, what's going on here?
Well, that right there, I think, Aaron Rodgers just is on that FU tour this year because he's not going to be in Green Bay after this year. I don't think.
Hey, well, if they have a good year, though, Coach, if he goes to the NFC Championship or something, how do you replace him?
Because he's got value very easily. It's a new coach. You traded up and took a quarterback. Okay, there's plenty of teams. Come on, you're telling me if you're not the Minnesota Vikings, you wouldn't want to have Aaron Rodgers on your team.
Yeah, but what are you going to get for him? He's older too. I don't think somebody's going to give 2 first-round picks. No, I mean you might get a first-round pick.
You'll get a one. You'll get
probably
one in there somewhere.
But is Jordan Love Aaron Rodgers though? I mean, I know Aaron Rodgers isn't what he's been, but it's still Aaron Rodgers.
I know.
Yeah, I mean it's
All right. And I don't know, is his contract up or what? I don't even know with that either. I mean, that's something
I'm not sure. I think they're looking at Love more. I think they know they got Aaron Rodgers for another year or two. I think it's almost a situation with Favre where Aaron, sat a couple years. I think they know Jordan Love's going to sit a couple years. But yeah, I think he is on an FU tour. And now don't you look and say, man, the Packers look pretty good through 2 weeks. What if they had another first-round pick to be on that team, whether it's a weapon or whatever, or for that defense?
You need somebody to throw the ball to, somebody, or somebody on defense. You're right.
Adams is questionable today. Wouldn't it have been nice to have another first-round receiver to throw to?
They never addressed that, and I don't understand why. They had a couple receivers last year, MVS, Marcus Valdez-Scantling, and Alan Lazard, who were temporary fill-ins. I mean, they really didn't do much. And like you said, if Adams is truly a game-time decision and maybe doesn't play tonight, I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one.
Absolutely.
All right, you want to get into my picks now, Coach?
I was just going to say, hold on a second.
Okay.
Let's,
This one
it's the wrong screen here.
about every weekend.
Hey, it's Nevada Nick. I win money, you win money, even the coach wins money.
Yeah, baby.
When you're in the huddle with Coach Muddle.
All right. Here we go. We're going to start off with game 1. All right, I'm going to go out to Buffalo. Bills, Bills are playing the Rams. I think the Rams are going to have a good year. I think the Rams are improved from last year. I like the Rams, but look, Bills got a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. Rams, they do have 2 wins, but what are the Cowboys and the Eagles right now? Their defenses both are playing poorly. Neither of them are consistent. Dallas should be 0-2. I mean, I know they win last week, but they should be 0-2. I mean, how they got that game, Dan Quinn, he's done. I mean, him and the owner are disagreeing about it. He's gone. But I'm going to start off with the Bills -1.5. I think they come out and win this game. I like the Bills today. I like the Bills a lot. I think they win this game. I love the defense. Josh Allen, he's playing better. That was the thing, was their offense. And that, so far, I know the competition hasn't been great, but you only can play who you play. They're 2-0. They have a top 5 offense right now. Allen does look like he's improved some. He can run the ball. He has the athletic ability. And then I just absolutely love the Bills defense. You got McDermott, who was a Jim Johnson guy with the Eagles. He learned under Jim Johnson. So as you know, coach with Spags, they're going to put pressure, exotic blitzes. And you need to do that with the Rams, because if you let Goff comfortable and you let him get his feet and setting his feet, Goff will tear you apart. You need to put pressure on him, and I think the Bills will. I like Bills -1.5 against the Rams. My second game, I'm going to tonight. A little bit of a letdown last week.
Hold on.
Okay.
I just saw, the people who wanted to chime in.
Yeah. Thank you. No, that's a good stat, though. It is a good stat. Wow, I didn't know that. 68%. You would think it would, but it just shows you that's Vegas for you. You know what I mean? You think 0-2 teams bet against them, but that's a good stat, Tommy. My second game, I'm going to tonight's game, Saints Packers. I'm hoping Adams isn't going to play. He was doubtful, but like Stizz had said, maybe now it's a game time decision. But I like the Saints tonight. I think they bounce back. I am a little worried about Breeze as well. Like Stizz said, he doesn't look like he's throwing the ball great, but still, Breeze has never been a down the field thrower. He's an accurate thrower. He's never had a strong arm. He's just the quarterback who makes the right decisions and put the ball where it needs to go. I think the Saints bounce back. I really do. So I like the Saints -3 tonight against the Packers. I think they win the game by a touchdown. I think this is that letdown game too for the Packers. Although I do like the Packers. That was a team I thought was going to take a step back this year, and they've impressed me. The defense is better, and Aaron Rodgers looks good. And like Coach said, I think he is on an FU tour. And okay, you think I'm done? I'm going to show you something. So those are going to be my 2 straight picks. Then now I got some of your teasers. I'm a teaser guy, and like I said, right now it's so hard to, read the NFL. We're early on here in this home field, situation. I do like a lot of teases. My first tease is going to be the Patriots -0.5 at home against the Raiders. I think it's a bad spot for the Raiders. I just think, back-to-back weeks, you're traveling. Last week they were at home, but, you're coming short week to the East Coast, 1 o'clock game. I think the Raiders are going to struggle with that. I really like the Patriots. The Patriots -0.5, and I'm going to put them with the Chargers -0.5 against the Panthers. Look, your top player for the Panthers is out. McCaffrey's hurt. That defense has holes. I thought Justin Herbert was very impressive last week. The coach said Tyrod Taylor is going to get his job back. I don't think he is. I mean, how do you when this kid's that impressive, how do you switch back? How do you put that kid back on the bench? I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Anthony Lynn knows that. I think he's kind of just trying to,
lip service. It's lip service.
And you know it too, Coach. He's pushing it on the next week. And
Right.
as Herbert plays good, and if he looks better, look, they almost beat the Chiefs last week. So the better he plays, it's just like with the Eagles when they had Kevin Cobb and he got hurt. And Andy said, "Oh, Kevin Cobb's our quarterback." Well, Michael Vick was the quarterback. So unless if Herbert struggles, maybe switch back, but I don't think it's going to happen. But I like to show that Patriots -0.5, Chargers -0.5. Put them in a tease. I think you're getting two good teams that just need to win the game, and I love them both today. That's my first tease. My second tease is going to be the Bucks at pick. So they're a 6-point favorite. You're taking the Bucks at pick against the Broncos. The Broncos lose Drew Lock. You got a backup quarterback in there. They did play the Steelers a lot better than I thought they would with your backup, but still a lot of injuries on the Broncos. You're probably have lost now your most important offensive player in Drew Lock and your most important defensive player in Von Miller. So I like the Buccaneers at pick, and I'm going to throw them with one of my other surprise teams this year, and they're even better than I thought, were the Cardinals. I mean, this is where what worries me about the Cardinals. These are the games you need to go in and win. And I had said I thought they were the type of team where they could, like in week 1, beat the Niners and then have that game where you lose. The Cardinals, you got to jump out to 3-0. You're playing Detroit. You got to get that win. And I love Kyler Murray, man. He is so hard to defend. He's special. Hopkins looks great. So that's my second team. Buccaneers at pick with the Cardinals +0.5. Stizz, do you want to say something?
No. I was,
okay, you like that. I thought you wanted to say something. But no, yeah. I mean, Stizz had him for over, 23 touchdowns.
3.5, yes.
Yeah.
20.
So I love Murray. I mean, like I said, it's, how demoralizing it is when you defend a guy and your secondary plays great, and then this guy just takes off and gets 15 yards and gets a first down on third down. That deflates a defense. You're just like, how do we stop this guy? And, you can try to do the what do they call it? When the linebacker, what do they call that, coach? Help me out here.
Spy.
Yeah, the spy. But it's hard with a guy that athletic. He's he's an athlete, baseball player. He's got a gun for an arm, and he is fast, man. I mean, you see it with Lamar Jackson. They are just special players, and it's the new breed of quarterback in the NFL. So, yeah, Bucks at pick, Cardinals +0.5. And then in my last tease, I'm going with the Cleveland Steamers. I mean, I think, look, they're playing the Redskins. I think the Browns, I know it was against the Bengals, but they ran the ball. Stefanski, I liked how he called the offense. I think Baker Mayfield's getting a little confidence. I mean, it's the Redskins. They should beat them. I mean, I'm not a big Haskins guy. The Redskins do have a good defensive line. You got to be careful of that. You got to protect Mayfield. You don't want him getting pressure, and he's not good with pressure. So you got Chase Young and Kerrigan coming after you. So hopefully they can hold him up. I got the Browns -1, and then I'm putting them with. I like to see, how can you not go with Russell Wilson right now? So you get the Seahawks +1.5. I mean, I don't see how that Cowboys team can stop him. That defense is not good. You saw it last week with Matt Ryan tearing them apart. It's just, I think, Russell Wilson's the MVP right now. Honestly, I think Russell Wilson's the best quarterback in football. And I'm not just going off 2 games. I said this before, and I think Stizz heard me. I think he's better than Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes has so much talent around him. Russell Wilson, just the way he can run the ball, his decision making. And Belichick even said it, and he was underrated. And the guy's just unbelievable. I mean, he just, like I said, what do you, 9 touchdowns, is it? I mean, he's just playing. Yeah, he's playing lights out. So, yeah, my last tease would be Browns -1, Seahawks +1.5. And I'm hoping the Cowboys go to 1-2. The Eagles win. And then we're looking at 1-2 is in first place in the NFC East. And it's very possible.
Yeah, everybody could be 1-2 today.
Yeah. And the other thing you want to look at, too, the over-under for that game is 56.5. It's a lot of points. But, man, I don't see how it's not a shootout today. I mean, the Seahawks defense is, I like the secondary, but they've been giving up points. Cam threw all over them. But, Dallas has got a good offense. You can't deny that. But Dallas's problem is their defense. So I think both teams will score. I see a 35-30 type shootout. Seahawks win.
All right, good stuff there from Nevada Nick. Let me I'll put those picks back up so everybody can see them. You got the Bills at minus 1.5.
Right.
We got the Saints at -3. And then these damn teasers.
Tell me you don't like that, though. Patriots -0.5, Chargers -0.5. How can you like that?
Yeah, good stuff.
Right. And, the Raiders they're still a good team. 6.5 points is a lot of points, You can be up 10 points late. They score a touchdown. You don't cover,
Right.
And then, you got the Bucs to win the game against the backup quarterback in Denver. You're getting Kyler Murray, who looks on point. Hopkins, man, what was Bill O'Brien thinking?
Yeah.
I mean, just a beast. And he's what Kyler Murray needed. What a move by the Cardinals. That's elevated that team to another level. And then we got, the Browns and the Seahawks. The Cardinals look dangerous, and that's why I had said I thought they were definitely going to win 8 games. But because that's a tough division, man. Seahawks, Niners, Rams. But now these Niners injuries might have opened the door for the Cardinals a little bit because now they've already beaten them in game 1. So let's not forget, even though they're only 2, they're 2-0 and the Niners are 1-0. They're 2 games up. Exactly, Stizz. So they're already 2 games up, and the Niners got a tough road to hoe here in the next couple weeks. Yeah, I know. And I said it last week. Stizz will tell you. I said they say teasers are for suckers. But I went 2-1 on them last week. Hopefully 3-0 this week. If not 2-1, I'll take it. It's winning.
Yeah.
Like Charlie Sheen, baby. That should be my extra. Just put on money, 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 money. Because Nevada Nick, you're betting with me, brother. You're making money. Simple as that. As my as my pen falls out of my ear.
You better believe it. You better believe it.
Absolutely. Well, good stuff. We're gonna jump out a few minutes early today just to get ready for some football action and whatnot. Go ahead, Stizz. What do you want to?
Real quick before we end off, I wanted to give my prop bet of the week.
Oh, right. I forgot. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I forgot.
No problem at all. No problem at all. We'll make some money on Nevada's picks, and we'll get me in with another segue on my prop bets of the year. Sticking with my start of the week, Miles Sanders. How can't you go wrong with them? Listen, put this bet in. Go out, mow your lawn, trim your bushes, go have a beer, whatever. Don't worry about it. Miles Sanders, 109.5 total yards today. You got to lay 110 to win 100. Basically almost even money. I'm taking the over in a heartbeat. If I'm not mistaken, I think he had 94 rushing yards last week. So he's going to get, I think, close to 100 rushing yards if Dougie Fresh sticks to the script. And I would think, 30, 40 receiving yards. That'll put it well over. No problem. Close your books. Get your money from your bookie and go to bed.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. So there you have it. There's your picks. There's your fantasy team. Get them set up. And we're going to watch some football. And, of course,
Stizz with the cornhole trophy.
Stizz and his cornhole trophy.
Coach, I wanted real quick before we end it. I had a bad dream this morning before I woke up. And it was a dream like I was out somewhere and I was getting strangled. And I said, oh, my God. Well, I woke up in cold sweats. Here was this damn trophy wrapped around my neck. Tired of wearing this hardware around, fellas. Somebody's got to beat me.
Yeah. Well, Coach, show us your trophy. Coach has got the glory hole trophy. Where's it at, Coach? Because he's the glory hole champion.
That's what happens when you're at the glory hole as much as you do, man.
Guess who? Love it.
All right, fellas. Good stuff. Good stuff. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
Yep.
We'll be back
Chiefs Ravens, baby.
And talk about some wins and what is this Macy's Day Parade? What?
This is his head. That's what he's saying. His head's like the Macy's Day Parade.
There you go. All right, good stuff. Thanks for checking us out.
Yep.
Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check it out. Like our Facebook page. And, of course, if you want to re-listen anywhere, Apple, Anchor, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, you can check it out as well. So thanks for checking us out, everyone. Take care. Enjoy your football today. We'll see you tomorrow.